All right, everyone. Hey, everyone. This is a long time coming. It's been a couple years actually since I have released a video, and I am on my front porch of the house. It's been, I actually haven't done a video since I moved here. Um, I did say that there was one incoming, but you know what? Life happened, and to be honest, there's a lot of videos where I would record them and just get frustrated because, frankly, the lighting here is either, and as you can see here, this is honestly the best lighting that I can get in the entire house, and it's even a little harsh over here. So, um, it is what it is. You got to work with what you can do. But I have, um, I have had an inspiration for, and honestly, the content that I was making was pretty, it got pretty bland. I was doing the same thing over and over, and I was just sort of tired of doing that. You all know what I think about these movies, and of course, there's only so much you can talk about as far as like retro content and everything. So, with that, I wanted to sort of change the channel and not necessarily the content, although that will change too. I want to sort of expand my content. Mainly, I've been almost solely talking about horror movies. There's a couple videos that I've done that have not talked about horror, but in this um, in this new revamp, I really want to talk about some of the other things I've become passionate about, and I definitely have solidified um, my love for as this channel update is all about the big, huge event that just happened this past Wednesday. An early birthday present for me, I'm assuming, and that is the announcement of Zack Snyder's Justice League. The Snyder Cut is getting released May 20th of 2021, as what we're being told, and with that, I have been on board with the Snyder Cut from the beginning, from really November 19th of 2017. And through those years, I've donated, money, lots of money for the Foundation of Suicide Prevention, which is what all of Zack Snyder's shirts and whatnot has raised money for, and all of the Snyder Cut movements. Any Grogo movements or other um, websites that we've done Kickstarters for and whatnot have all donated their profits to the Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and that's been very. This week has just been so emotional for me. Like I have just randomly started tearing up because it's just like I can't believe that we accomplished this. And I have been a strong supporter of this for years. And anybody who knows me knows that Zack Snyder is my favorite filmmaker, and that he makes movies that I am very, very passionate about. And he makes incredibly deep movies, as we will soon discover here. And in preparation for this event of Justice League, I will part of my obviously Snyder makes very dark movies, and when it comes to not just lighting but content. And obviously, as somebody who is a horror fan, definitely gravitate towards um, that style of filmmaking. But also, he is he is a very deep filmmaker, and that is also the other part of of filmmaking that very greatly inspires me as well. And one of the reasons why I went to film school and studied film is because I love the art of filmmaking, and I love the myth making that filmmaking can do and can bring for the audience. And in Zack Snyder's DCU, and in fact, a short story here. I'll try to keep it as short as I can. But I told this on our podcast, but the day before I went to see Justice League, which was the day after Thanksgiving, I'll never forget it. I watched Blood Rage, which is, of course, the only Thanksgiving horror movie really that we have. And then I watched, because my friend wanted us to go see Justice League together, and I knew I had Man of Steel, and I watched Man of Steel like a week prior, and then I had BVS for a couple months, and I knew I was going to eventually watch it, and I thought, well, I'll just buy it. It was on sale. I think I got it for like $13 at Best Buy. And I'm surprised I haven't worn it out, because I've actually had Batman versus Superman on right now. But I watched that for the first time on Thanksgiving. It was like the last thing that I did. Of course, I started with the Ultimate Edition. It's really the only way to watch the movie, in my personal opinion. Not to say that theatrical doesn't have its merits, because it is a Zack Snyder movie, so it is a visual masterpiece of a movie. But if you want to get the full depth of the story and the subtleties of character development and everything, the Ultimate Edition is really the director's cut is really the only way to watch the movie. But I did watch that, and I had honestly become very jaded and very just worn out on superhero movies, because there's only so many times where you can see, referring to the MCU, there's only so many times that you can see the same movie, and there's not really nothing being added for me as far as like, actual meat and like depth and character development, that I was just like, I'm done. I had seen, I think, probably like 8 or 9 of those, and I was just like, I'm done. And I'd actually seen Man of Steel, and when I had watched it, I didn't think that it was really that different from what I'd seen with the MCU. So I was like, man, it was good, but it was whatever. It wasn't until later that I really discovered just how deep that movie actually is, and we will, of course, see that very soon on the channel. But I was blown away by Batman versus Superman. It was a 3-hour masterpiece, and I knew the first time that I watched it that I had seen something that was great, and I was almost apologetic for loving the movie. And I think I gave it like an 8 or an 8.5 or something like that the first time I watched it, and then it's been a 10 ever since, because it's just, to me, it is the best superhero movie that's ever been made, because it is a visual masterpiece, but also it can be endlessly talked about, and there's so many different ways that you can look at it. If you view it in one way, you see something, and then if you're focusing on Batman, you're going to pull out certain things in the movie. If you're focusing on Lex Luthor, you're going to pull out certain things in the movie. And if you're focusing on Superman, if you're focusing on like a lot of these side things that are going on, you're going to get different things from the movie each time. And that, to me, is truly something that is like a masterpiece when you're talking about just depth. And we will cover that when I discuss the movie. And I'm gonna kind of do it like this, like I go live, and I'm just gonna have it go live later on. I'm never gonna like broadcast live or anything for this one. And then whenever I make the videos coming up later, this is going to be like, you're used to just seeing me talk. I'm actually going to have like B-roll. I'm going to use the footage from the movies. And that's, with reviewing it, and, be really getting the depth of it. And that's, for me, the best way that I can celebrate and the best way that I can prepare for the Snyder Cut. And really, it's a dream come true for me. Like, having your favorite filmmaker, like, just, with the theatrical Justice League, 11% of that movie was Zack Snyder's. So it really wasn't Zack Snyder's Justice League at all, even though he was, credited as a director. It wasn't his movie at all, and you can definitely tell, like, when a Zack Snyder movie when you see it. and we're going to get an over 4-hour Justice League movie. And if it was 6 hours, I would not complain at all, because that's just the more the merrier. I can't even wait to see what all he does with regards to developing all the characters. And we know that Cyborg is going to be the heart of the movie, and I thought Ray Fisher was the best part of the theatrical Justice League. I think his acting is just incredible, and the way that he is a tragic figure, you can just see the pain in his eyes. I think it's just, there's something special about him and the way that he can act, and I am very much looking forward to that. So, I'm still going to do horror movies, and in between my breakdowns of movies, I'm still going to do reviews, but I'm not going to. This channel is going to be like less is more. So that's going to be my focus. Like, I'm not going to want to put out a video a week or something like that. It's going to be like once every couple of months. But I have the summer to mostly do videos, and then I start school back up in the fall online. So I'm not sure how much time I will have, because I really want to get good grades. So, that we'll see. That's why I really want to start this channel like right away, right now. We have 4 months basically to do. I have 4 months to do videos. So if I can get 2 videos out a month, I can get well into what I want to do here for the channel. But you're going to see a more high quality channel. And to me, like, I just like, I kind of got bored just standing in front of the camera and just talking, and then you just seeing me. And as I would watch those videos back, it got kind of boring to me just seeing it. And I did notice that views started to drop off, and it just it was just a spiral effect of like, I just creatively, it got boring, and then I thought that the audience sort of responded to that as well. Where I used to get like 100 or so views per video, and then I noticed that in like a month's time I would only have like 30 or 40 or 50 views, and I just was like, yeah, I know, I understand, and it kind of did get the same. And my collection has grown immensely since then. I've kept collecting. I've kept not so much now, because I am planning to move here in the next year as well, again to another apartment, but cross country. But we'll see about that whenever that time comes. So I'm trying to save up. So that's also why I sort of stopped. It was irregular, and I financially I've been struggling here and there. Like, I was good for a while, and then it got rough again. So now I'm doing okay again. But it's just, the thing is, for me, is creatively, like, I don't want to create content that I myself would not watch, and that I don't feel like I'm creatively doing a great job with. And I thought that my videos were fine, but it's not the great content that I really wanted to produce and that I really want to produce. So expect that coming up in the future. And so the way that these videos are going to go, I am going to probably do 20 to 30 minute segments of the movie, and I'm going to break down scene by scene breakdown of each movie of Batman, of Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, and in anticipation for the Snyder Cut to be released. And I want to be as thorough as humanly possible, and I will I'm going to that's why I'm only going to do 20 to 30 minutes at a time. If there's a scene that requires 10 minutes to talk about, I'm going to talk about it for 10 to 15 minutes, or however long it's going to take. But to me, I'm drawn to deep character stories that really portray humanity, as it truly is. In Snyder's movies, no character really is 100% good or 100% evil. There's always a reason for the villainous characters to be doing what they're doing. In Batman versus Superman, Batman is the villain, and Lex Luthor sort of share that villainous role. And for me, like, the reasons why they're doing it is so profoundly human that you can't help but to empathize with them and to really feel for them, to really say, like, man, they're really not that evil. Like, they are us. Like, they really are. And to me, Batman is that made me fall in love with Batman, and why I can empathize with that character, and I fell in love with that character. And Ben Affleck is, to me, is just Batman for me. Like, and Robert Pattinson, I hope, does a great job as well with that Batman movie that's also coming out in 2021. But in Man of Steel, of course, Zod. But Zod isn't just a bad guy doing bad things. He wants to take over the world because, well, he's a bad guy, he's evil, and all of that stuff. It's very profound, and the way that that is portrayed in the movie, I think, is just no less than a masterpiece. I think both of his movies have been masterpieces, and I think he's made 3 or 4 masterpieces, and to me, he is this generation's Stanley Kubrick. And I know that's a huge thing to say, but I'm not talking about like the stature. I'm not saying that he should be viewed in the same stature. I'm saying that the way that he makes and crafts movies in a very visually appealing way, while also being incredibly artistic and deep. And I mean, you watch A Clockwork Orange, and you watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, and you watch The Shining, and you see movies that you can really dissect for years. I mean, it's been 40 years since The Shining came out, and we are still talking about it to this day. And that, to me, is like, I see Man of Steel and BVS being this generation's The Shining. I think in like 30 to 40 years, we will view those movies the same as the Stanley Kubrick movies of that time period. And that's, to me, what, that's my, and honestly, it's already happening. I've seen endless videos where people who originally did not like Man of Steel and hated BVS have turned around and said, you know what, these movies actually are great. And I'm actually seeing, and I think that's going to just be a cultural thing where people are just going to see that these movies are great. And I hope to be ahead of the curve on that way and fight against that, and to really show that these movies, you will like these movies. You at least will understand these movies in a deeper way. Even if you don't like them, they're profoundly human stories. So you will at least connect with it on a human level, on a base human level. You have to empathize with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman in these movies, and understand, and Lex Luthor and Zod, and understand that these are people that represent us. These godlike figures, these superheroes, they represent us. And these, in even Lex Luthor as a supervillain, also represents us, also represents that part in us. And I hope to uncover that in the next year and really delve into that as much as I possibly can, and really understand the essence of these movies, and really understand, and that's really ultimately what Snyder said in his Man of Steel commentary, that he's hoping to get us to really think deeper about what it means to be human, and how we can better become and strive to be more like Superman, and to be more like Batman at the end of Batman versus Superman. And I will end this live stream here, and it'll be about 20 minutes, with saying that the ultimate goal of this is the ultimate goal of the DC universe, and the ultimate goal that Man of Steel was, and the ultimate goal that Batman versus Superman was, is true, profound hope. That we have to go through the darkest of darks in our lives, the dark nights of the soul, in order to find that hope. And when we find it, it has a profound impact and a profound transformation on our lives. So I hope to really delve into that and really understand and how that transformation, takes place within this mythology of the DC of Snyder versus DCEU, and really hopefully come out with a better appreciation for the films, as I continuously have, even more so than what I already do. So I hope that you guys will tune in, and I hope to have a video out here in the next month. I'm not, of course, not going to give a don't expect though in the next month, because I always will break that. I will always fail at that, but I'm going to hopefully do that sooner rather than later. But thanks, guys, for tuning in, and I hope you all are doing well. And I hope that you'll tune in next time. Thanks, guys.